there, viewers. This is Long Island Commuter and the M9, the newest train in the game. This is a quick tutorial to show you how to set it up, take you through some of the differences from previous Long Island Railroad stock, and to a bit of brief driving. First thing to notice is we've got door controls here, and they're not up here anymore. Similarly, they're gone from this panel, and they're up here. You'll also notice there's no switches behind the driver. These are all requirements of the licensor, so please don't hang it on DTG, they didn't do it. Alright, to get set up, master key on, bring your reverser to forwards. So far it's pretty similar to what we had before. Bring your controller to max brake. You'll notice it's automatically charging the brake pipe, so we don't have to press the green button anymore. Let's turn off the red marker lights and turn on the headlights to bright. If you need windscreen wipers, they're just there. On the desk, we've got the horn. We've got the acknowledge stick, which is the Q key or circle or B on your favorite controller, or the alert button on your rail driver. Alright, let's get going. Now, sometimes you'll see it light up with a anti-rollback. If that happens, you need to take the power up to about 40 or 50% before the train will actually move. If it's not lit, you can just use minimum power to get going for a nice smooth ride. Now you'll notice we're limited to 10 mile an hour here, so I'm actually deliberately going to stay under 10 mile an hour, so I'll just get it moving up to about 5 or 6 or so. And then I'm going to go into coast. Now I'm doing that deliberately because I want to show you what happens with the alerter. It's quite a rigmarole to reset this thing if it stops you. But first up, I want to show you how to acknowledge it so that it doesn't bug you. The alerter will sooner or later go off. You have about 7 or 8 seconds to actually acknowledge the thing and nothing bad happens. There it goes. So if I acknowledge, I used the Q key, but it's circle or B on your controller, excuse my hiccups, or the alert button on your rail driver. They all work fine. This time I'm going to let the alerter stop the train. We want to have a penalty brake application, and I hope it does it before we speed. Now when you manipulate the controls on this thing, that does reset the alerter timer. There we go, the alerter's going off. We'll let it stop the train, so we'll have an emergency brake application shortly. Hopefully it does it before we go too fast, because I don't want ATC to whack us and confuse things. There we go. We've had the emergency brakes applied, we're leaning forward in our chair and wiping our face off the dashboard. So, to acknowledge this thing, go into max brake, acknowledge it, and that stops the noise, but you notice the brake pipe's not charging yet. So back to coast, and then back to max brake, and you'll see it start charging up. Once it charges up, we'll be able to drive again. Alright. Now this time, I'm deliberately going to go too fast. So we're limited to 10 mile an hour here, but we have an ATC requirement of 15, and that's what I'm going to look at. You use the HUD. There we go. We've gone over speed. If I acknowledge that and I brake fast enough, we'll be fine and we can keep driving. You will find that you over brake because you have to brake and keep braking until you are under the limit. This time I'm going to let it stop the train. So we're going to have another emergency penalty brake application. And I'm just going to let it go. Brake assurance. And we should get penalty brake. There we go. Penalty and emergency brakes. So go back to min brake or early braking. Acknowledge it and the sound will go. Take it up to max brake. So this one's a little bit different because it'll now start charging when you're in a max brake. You'll see the emergency brake light has gone out. And we can move again. So you can imagine how interesting it can get. You notice the anti-rollbacks come on now, so now I have to get my power up about 50% so that we can get moving. It's a little bit variable whether anti-rollback comes on or not when you're stopped. I suspect the train measures the gradient. And we want to stay under the 15, says he, immediately going over it. So we want to stay under the 15. Now for points scoring, believe the HUD. So the HUD says 10. But for just running the train, you can believe the ATC and Axis. So if you want to score maximum points, believe the HUD. If you want to drive it as per the ATC and Axis systems, then just stay under the speeds that they tell you to do. We are now allowed to do 80 according to ATC, but not according to the HUD, because the HUD says, well, when the back of your train passes that point, you can go faster. We're going to go faster anyway. Acknowledge the alerter. And we've got 80 on track speed as well now. They do follow the 4-whistle code for crossings on LIRR for the most part. So it's 2 longs, a short and a long. The short should be just before the crossing and the long should be as you're going through the crossing. And you'll see that there are W or whistle boards periodically throughout the route. Just acknowledging the alerter. We're getting close to the speed now. It's just dropping back to minimum power. I do suggest while you're learning the train you keep away from the speed limit so that you don't have to deal with an overspeed situation. As you get more experience, feel free to hover right near it. Alright, and let's come to a service stop now. I'm very aggressively stopping here. I am in max brake. May not be enough, we'll see. The brakes are pretty good on this train. And if you follow cab videos, they do often hit the end of platforms at pretty close to full speed and then stop in the platform. And it looks like we're actually going to make it. So it's would appear to be protocolically correct. This is a 12-car train. We stop at the 12-car board. You can unlock the doors using the controls up here if you wish. Or you can use the keyboard, the Y and U keys. You can use the D-pad on your controller, left and right, as normal. It's the same as the others. Alright, so that's about it for this train. Actually, I can take you through the shutdown procedure as well. It's not particularly involved. You go to emergency brakes to dump the air. Put your master key controller to key out. And before we turn everything off, we'll switch on the marker lights and switch off the headlights and then key out. And that's it with our train is now shut down, so stable. It's a strange thing to do in a station, but you will need to do it at the end of service runs. That's it for this tutorial. In the next one, I'll do a full-length run and I'll show you how to respond to ATC and Axis. The most appropriate thing is to learn the speeds and signals, and that's all detailed in the manual. But if you don't want to do that, you can simply react to what ATC and Axis is telling you, as long as you do it quickly enough. Alrighty, that's it for this tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. I hope it's helpful. If you've got any questions or comments, chuck them down below and I will try and help you out. Alrighty, have fun folks. See you later.
We played a game.